My sister accidentally knocked over my $950 wedding cake after I refused to give her a $98,000 down payment for her 23rd birthday. Oops, she laughed. My mom just shrugged and said, "You know how she gets when she's disappointed." I didn't react. Not then. That evening, I canceled the lease cosign, pulled the plug on the moving fund I'd filed for last month, and froze everything she was counting on. But the real shock hit the next morning, when they opened the eviction notice. Throwaway account because this story involves family and I don't want it traced back to me. This is long, but every detail matters for context. I need to get this out because it's been eating at me for months. I 29 male and this is about my sister Brittany, 23 female, and how she went from being a spoiled brat to my personal nightmare, and how I finally put an end to it. Fair warning, this gets pretty intense. First, you need to understand our family dynamic to get why this situation exploded the way it did. I'm a marketing director at a mid-sized consulting firm in Denver, been grinding since college. Started as an intern making coffee and copies, worked my way up through junior analyst, account coordinator, senior strategist, and now director. I pull in $135,000 plus bonuses and profit sharing. Not rich, but comfortable. I earned every penny through 70-hour weeks, weekend projects, and constantly learning new skills. Brittany? She's been coasting her entire life on looks and manipulation. Dropped out of community college twice, can't hold a job for more than 6 months. Spends her days making TikToks about manifestation and abundance mindset. Classic wannabe influencer with 2,000 followers who thinks she's the next big thing. Our parents divorced when I was 15 and she was 9. Dad pays alimony and child support. Mom works part-time at a veterinary clinic. Neither of them ever expected much from Brittany because she was the baby who went through the trauma of the divorce. Meanwhile, I was working part-time at a grocery store while finishing high school, then worked full-time through college to avoid student loans. The financial support started small when she turned 18. Her ancient Honda Civic with 180,000 miles finally gave up the ghost. Transmission went out completely. Instead of getting a job to fix it or looking into financing options, she called me at work crying hysterically about how she couldn't get to her auditions and networking events. She was going through her actress phase at the time, convinced she was going to be discovered at some coffee shop in downtown Denver. I remember that call vividly. She was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. "Tyler, I can't afford the $800 for the transmission. Without my car, I can't get to my auditions. My whole career is going to be ruined." She made it sound like she was on the verge of landing her breakout role instead of going to open calls that led nowhere. Being the protective older brother, I transferred the money that same day. Never saw a penny of it again. But when I brought it up a few months later, Mom jumped in with, "She's still figuring things out. And you know how hard it is for creative people to make money." Then it became an established pattern that would define our relationship for the next 5 years. Emergency after emergency, always with the same dramatic presentation. Overdraft fees because she couldn't budget her part-time retail income. She'd spend her entire paycheck on clothes and makeup within 2 days of getting paid, then act shocked when her rent check bounced. Credit card payments she couldn't make because she'd maxed them out on investment pieces for her constantly changing career goals. Rent assistance when she inevitably got fired from whatever minimum wage job she'd managed to land, usually for showing up late, calling out sick too often, or having conflicts with managers who didn't appreciate her creative energy. Each crisis followed the exact same script. First, Brittany would call me in tears, making it sound like her life was completely falling apart. Then, when I didn't immediately offer money, she'd call Mom. Within an hour, I'd get a guilt-trip phone call with Mom delivering the same rehearsed lines. "She's really trying this time, Tyler. She just needs a little help to get stable. You know she looks up to you so much. Family helps family." The amounts kept getting bigger too. Started with that $800 car repair, then it was $400 for credit card minimums, $650 for rent, $300 for emergency dental work that turned out to be cosmetic teeth whitening, $1,200 for professional development courses that were really just online influencer workshops. By the time she turned 22, I'd probably given her close to $18,000 in loans and help. But here's the thing that really got under my skin. She never once said thank you. Not a single genuine expression of gratitude. She'd take the money like it was owed to her, spend it on whatever she wanted without any accountability, then act like I was being unreasonable and stingy if I hesitated even slightly the next time she came asking. I started keeping a spreadsheet after the first year, tracking every penny I'd given her. Call it my marketing background, but I like data and documentation. The pattern was clear. Increasing amounts, decreasing time between requests, zero repayment ever. If this was a business relationship, I would have cut ties after the second default payment. But this was family, and I'd been conditioned since childhood to believe that meant unlimited second chances. What really made me start questioning everything was how she talked about money in general. She'd post on social media about abundance mindset and manifesting wealth, but then complain to me privately about being broke and struggling. She'd buy a $200 designer purse and then claim she couldn't afford groceries. She'd spend $150 on professional makeup for a content shoot, but need me to cover her phone bill. The cognitive dissonance was staggering. The real wake-up call came when I started dating Sarah 2 years ago. Sarah's a pediatric nurse, makes decent money, incredibly responsible with finances. When I told her about my family situation, she was genuinely shocked. You've given her 18 grand and she's never paid back a cent? It's not about the money, I said. She's family. Sarah just stared at me. Tyler, she's using you, and your mom is helping her do it. I didn't want to hear it then, but Sarah planted a seed that would eventually grow into me setting real boundaries. Things escalated when Brittany discovered Instagram and TikTok. Suddenly, she was a content creator and lifestyle influencer. Her entire personality became about projecting wealth and success she didn't have. She'd borrow designer clothes from friends, rent expensive cars for photos, eat ramen for a week to afford one dinner at a trendy restaurant she could post about. The captions were always about living your best life and manifesting abundance. It was honestly pathetic to watch. But the worst part? She started using our entire family as props in her content without asking anyone's permission. She posted photos of my BMW with captions like, "Sunday drives with family blessed," never mentioning that she didn't own the car and had actually just borrowed it to get to a job interview that she was already planning to quit. She used pictures of my downtown condo for her aesthetic posts about gratitude for beautiful spaces and manifesting your dream lifestyle. Again, never acknowledging that she was essentially squatting there rent-free during one of her many between apartments phases. The most infuriating example was when she posted a photo of herself wearing Sarah's jewelry at a family dinner with the caption, "When your style just naturally attracts beautiful things. Abundant, blessed, manifestation." The necklace was an $800 piece that Sarah had saved up for months to buy herself, and Brittany had just grabbed it off the bathroom counter without asking. When Sarah politely asked for it back, Brittany rolled her eyes and said, "It looks better on me anyway." Her followers completely bought into the fantasy she was selling. Comments like "goals," and "you're living the dream," and "teach me your manifestation secrets." She was literally catfishing the internet with my success, Sarah's belongings, and our family's resources while contributing absolutely nothing to her own life except carefully curated lies. The demands kept escalating. She needed a new iPhone for better content quality. I bought her the Pro Max. She needed professional photos for her brand. I paid for a $600 photo shoot. She needed to attend some influencer conference in Miami. I covered her flight and hotel, another $1,200. Each time she promised it was an investment that would pay off when her account grew. She was going to pay me back double when she got her first brand deal, when she hit 10,000 followers, when she launched her course about manifestation and success mindset. None of it ever happened. Her account stayed stuck around 2,000 followers, mostly bots and thirsty guys. No brand deals, no income, just more demands for funding her fantasy lifestyle. The breaking point came when she asked me to co-sign a lease on a $3,200 monthly apartment in the trendiest part of downtown. She needed it for content, she said. The aesthetic of her current place wasn't on brand anymore. I actually considered it at first. I was so conditioned to supporting her dreams that I almost signed the paperwork. Sarah had to physically stop me from walking into that leasing office. She makes maybe $1,100 a month at her retail job when she's actually working, Sarah said. How is she going to pay $3,200 in rent? She says her account is about to blow up. Tyler, listen to yourself. You're a smart man. You understand marketing and analytics better than most people. Would you make this deal with any client based on the data you're seeing? She was right. Brittany's engagement rates were terrible. Her follower growth was flat. Her content had zero viral potential. I wouldn't recommend this strategy to any client, so why was I considering it for my sister? That's when I started seeing the pattern clearly. And it was about to get much worse. Sarah and I got engaged last October. Nothing fancy. I proposed during a weekend trip to Colorado, just us in the mountains. Sarah said yes immediately, and we started planning a simple but elegant wedding for the following summer. We wanted something meaningful without being excessive. About 85 people. Nice venue by Cherry Creek, excellent catering, live acoustic music. Total budget around $38,000, which we saved up over 10 months. Sarah's parents contributed $6,000. Mine contributed nothing because mom was tight on money and dad had his own expenses. Everything was planned and paid for by March. Venue booked, catering confirmed, dress purchased, photographer hired, flowers ordered. We were excited and stress-free, which apparently was a major problem for Brittany. The text came on a Tuesday morning while I was in a strategy meeting with a major client. OMG, I found the perfect place. It's like totally meant to be. Attached was a Zillow listing for a $520,000 condo in the most expensive part of downtown Denver. 2 bedrooms, floor-to-ceiling windows, rooftop pool, concierge service, parking garage. The kind of place she'd been featuring in her dream life vision boards for months. Before I could even process the first message, another text arrived. I already talked to the realtor. She says, if I can get the down payment together, we could close in July. Mom said you'd probably want to help with the down payment as an early wedding gift to me. A wedding gift? To her. For my wedding. The down payment was $98,000. I stared at my phone in complete disbelief. She had no steady job, got fired from Target the month before for excessive tardiness and attitude issues with customers. No savings account. Credit score probably in the low 400s. But she'd already contacted a realtor about a $500,000 condo she expected me to finance. I didn't respond immediately. I was too stunned. But that evening, she called while I was cooking dinner with Sarah. Did you see my texts? Isn't it absolutely perfect? I'm literally manifesting this into reality. Brittany, that's a $98,000 down payment. I know, it's a lot, but think of it as a real estate investment. Property values in that area are going crazy. You'd basically be making money while helping me build my future. You don't have steady employment. I'm between opportunities right now, but my influencer career is about to take off. Plus, I could rent out the second bedroom on Airbnb. It would basically pay for itself, and I'd pay you back everything plus interest within 2 years. Guaranteed. The delusion was absolutely staggering. She genuinely believed I was going to hand over nearly 6 figures so she could play house in a luxury condo while making TikToks about gratitude and abundance. I can't do it, Brittany. That's more money than most people make in 2 years. Long silence. Then, seriously? After everything mom and dad did for you growing up? What does that have to do with anything? They supported your dreams. They paid for your college applications, helped you get your first apartment, celebrated all your achievements. Now that I'm finally ready to build something real for myself, you won't help? This was classic Brittany. Rewrite history to make herself the victim, and me the ungrateful beneficiary. Yes, my parents had helped me with college applications. They drove me to visit 3 state schools, and we stayed in budget motels. They helped with my first apartment. They co-signed the lease on a $650 monthly place near campus. They celebrated my achievements. They came to my graduation and took me to dinner at Olive Garden. But somehow, in her twisted perspective, this translated to them bankrolling a luxury lifestyle that I'd never had or expected. It's not the same thing, and you know it. Whatever, Tyler. I guess I know where I stand with you now. She hung up. 2 hours later, Mom called. Brittany's really hurt, she said immediately. She just wants to feel like she's building something real. This condo could be a fresh start for her. Mom, it's almost $100,000. I know it's a lot of money, but you're doing so well in your career. And she's family. Sometimes we help family even when it's difficult. I've been helping her for 7 years. She's never paid back a single penny. Money isn't everything, Tyler. She loves you. She looks up to you. She talks about her big brother all the time. That was the end of the conversation for me. Love and admiration don't pay mortgages or build credit scores. And I was completely done being her personal ATM. When I didn't change my mind after a week, Brittany launched a full-scale social media manipulation campaign. She posted a series of Instagram stories that were clearly designed to pressure me through public embarrassment. Story 1. Photo of the condo listing with text, when you find your dream home but your family doesn't believe in your vision. Story 2. A selfie fake tears. Text reading. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who hold you back. Toxic family. Story 3. A quote graphic that said, family should lift each other up, not tear each other down. Some people are threatened by your success. The last story included a lengthy caption. It's so hard when people you love are intimidated by your growth. They'd rather keep you small than see you shine. But I'm not giving up on my dreams. The universe will provide what's meant for me. Within hours, my phone was buzzing with messages from relatives and family friends. What's going on with you and Brittany? She seems really upset about something. Are you guys having problems? Sarah was furious when she saw the posts. She's trying to pressure you through public manipulation. This is emotional blackmail. But Brittany was just getting started. She began liking and commenting on every single one of my social media posts with passive-aggressive messages designed to make me look bad. My post about completing a major project at work. So proud of my big brother. He's so successful. I just wish he remembered what family means. Sarah's post about our wedding planning progress. Can't wait for the wedding. Hopefully some of that happiness spreads to helping family members achieve their dreams too. She was turning my entire online presence into a battlefield. Every post, every photo, every achievement became about her condo demand. She was essentially holding my social media hostage until I gave her what she wanted. The final escalation was when she posted a TikTok video titled, POV, your brother makes 6 figures but won't help you buy your first home. It showed her lip-syncing to some audio about family betrayal, with text overlay displaying my estimated salary versus the down payment she needed. She was literally broadcasting my financial information to guilt-trip me into compliance. The video got 50,000 views and hundreds of comments calling me selfish and heartless. That night, I blocked her on every platform. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. I wasn't going to be her content anymore. Our wedding day was June 22nd. Perfect weather, beautiful venue, everything executing flawlessly according to our timeline. Sarah looked absolutely stunning in her dress. An elegant design she'd found at a sample sale for $1,400. I was wearing a charcoal gray suit I'd had custom tailored, feeling like the luckiest man alive. The ceremony was at 4:30 p.m. overlooking the water. Intimate and heartfelt. Exactly what we wanted. Afterward, cocktail hour while the venue staff transitioned the space for dinner. Everything was running perfectly on schedule. Brittany had RSVP'd yes with a +1, some guy she'd been dating for 3 weeks, but showed up alone and 90 minutes late, right as we were starting the first course of dinner. She made this incredibly dramatic entrance, practically strutting through the door during my father-in-law's heartfelt welcome toast, wearing a pure white dress. Not off-white, not cream, not ivory. Straight-up bridal white with rhinestone details, a fitted bodice, and a small train that she had to hold up while walking. The entire room of 85 people went dead silent. Sarah's face went pale, and I watched her grip my hand so tightly her knuckles went white. Even our photographer, who'd been shooting weddings for 15 years, stopped taking pictures because the situation was so blatantly inappropriate and uncomfortable. But Brittany acted like she'd just made a grand entrance at a red carpet event. She waved at people she barely knew, air-kissed relatives she hadn't spoken to in years, loudly complimented the floral arrangements, while the father-in-law was still trying to finish his toast. She walked up to the catering manager during dinner service and asked for special dietary accommodations that definitely weren't part of our package, claiming she'd forgotten to mention her newly developed gluten sensitivity. She was performing her usual main character routine, but she'd chosen my wedding day as her stage. Every conversation she joined became about her upcoming business ventures or her content creation goals. When Sarah's college roommate was telling a sweet story about how Sarah and I first met, Brittany literally interrupted with, "Oh my gosh, speaking of meeting people, you should see the condo I'm manifesting. It's going to be perfect for hosting influencer events and networking parties." The cake cutting was scheduled for 8:15 p.m., perfectly timed after dinner and before the dancing started. We'd spent weeks planning this moment with our photographer. The lighting, the angles, the positioning. We'd ordered a 3-tier masterpiece from Denver's premier bakery, a place that books up 6 months in advance and costs a fortune. Vanilla bean and dark chocolate layers with Swiss buttercream frosting, decorated with fresh white peonies and eucalyptus that matched Sarah's bridal bouquet perfectly. The whole thing cost $950, which was way more than we'd originally budgeted, but it was exactly what we'd envisioned for our special day. Simple, elegant, timeless. As we approached the beautifully decorated cake table with our photographer positioned for the perfect shot and our families gathered around with their phones ready, Brittany suddenly materialized next to us like some kind of attention-seeking apparition. She had her phone out and was already recording, pushing herself directly between Sarah and me. "This is so beautiful," she announced loudly enough for the entire reception to hear, completely disrupting the intimate moment we'd been planning for months. "Can I get in this video? This is definitely going on my Instagram story. My followers are going to absolutely love this content." The photographer looked at me helplessly. Our families were staring in disbelief. Sarah's hand was trembling as she held the vintage cake server we'd borrowed from her grandmother. "Brittany, this is our moment," Sarah said quietly but firmly, trying to maintain her composure even though I could see tears starting to form in her eyes. "Oh, come on! Don't be so selfish about it. It's just a quick little video. My followers will absolutely love seeing family celebration content." She was literally trying to hijack the most important moment of our wedding ceremony for her social media content. When Sarah and I moved to the other side of the table to get away from her phone camera, Brittany's expression shifted from fake sweetness to barely contained rage. "Seriously? You can't share 5 seconds of attention? After I came all the way here to celebrate with you? You showed up 90 minutes late wearing white," I said calmly. "Maybe tone it down." That's when her mask completely slipped. She got this cold, calculating look in her eyes and said, "Maybe if you actually cared about family, I wouldn't have to fight for basic attention and respect." Then, while maintaining direct eye contact with me, she accidentally bumped the table while reaching dramatically for her purse. The cake tilted, wobbled, and crashed to the floor in slow motion. $950 of custom cake splattered across the venue's polished hardwood. The top tier landed directly on Sarah's dress, covering the front panel in chocolate buttercream and crushed peonies. Brittany's immediate reaction? "Oops, my bad. Well, at least it makes for interesting content." She actually started filming the destruction. Sarah was standing there covered in our wedding cake, tears welling up in her eyes, while Brittany recorded her humiliation for TikTok. I completely lost my composure. "Get out, right now." "Tyler, relax. It was obviously an accident." "Get out of my wedding immediately." The venue coordinator had to escort her out while she screamed about how I was embarrassing her in front of everyone and making a huge scene over nothing important. The rest of the reception was completely ruined. Sarah had to change into the casual dress she'd brought for the after-party. We had no cake-cutting moment, no sweet ending to our celebration. Just the memory of my sister destroying our wedding day for social media attention. But this was just the beginning of her campaign against us. The Monday after our honeymoon, I woke up to 63 missed calls and 300+ text messages. Brittany had posted a 20-minute TikTok titled, "My brother's toxic wife got me kicked out of their wedding over nothing." In the video, she painted herself as the completely innocent victim who made one tiny mistake and got brutally attacked by Sarah and me. She claimed the cake incident was entirely accidental, that Sarah had screamed at her and called her names, that I had physically threatened her in front of all the guests. Every single word was a lie, but the video went massively viral. 3.8 million views, 650,000 likes, 85,000 comments calling me and Sarah terrible people. She was finally getting the influencer fame she'd always desperately wanted, built entirely on destroying our reputation. She followed up with a series of videos about toxic family members, narcissistic siblings, and protecting your energy from negative people. Each video received hundreds of thousands of views. She gained 75,000 followers in 10 days. But in her quest for sympathy and attention, she made a crucial strategic error. She mentioned that I was in marketing making 6 figures, who had selfishly refused to help her buy her first home. She posted screenshots of the condo listing and talked about how she'd found her perfect dream place. But her controlling brother wouldn't help with financing. She had just given me everything I needed for total warfare. You see, I'm not just any marketing professional. I'm a director who specializes in digital strategy, analytics, and competitive research. I know how to investigate people, verify information, analyze data patterns, and build comprehensive cases with solid documentation. I spent the following week conducting thorough research on Brittany's actual financial situation, bank records from when she'd given me access for budgeting help, employment history through HR contacts and public records, credit reports through legal channels, social media activity going back 3 years. The picture that emerged was absolutely devastating. She had $84 in her checking account and $52,000 in credit card debt across 11 different cards. Student loans in default, had been terminated from her last 4 jobs for attendance problems, tardiness, and conflicts with management and customers. But the most interesting discovery was her Venmo transaction history. Regular payments from older men with usernames like Daddy Warbucks 303 and Sugar Daddy Denver. $50 to $200 per transaction, with captions like, "Thanks for dinner, Daddy," and "You're amazing." She was operating as an amateur sugar baby, accepting money from lonely men online while publicly claiming to be a successful lifestyle influencer. I compiled everything into a comprehensive digital file and sent it to her potential landlord with a professional message. "For your due diligence," regarding Miss Brittany's rental application. As her brother, I felt obligated to provide accurate financial information that might be relevant to your decision. The luxury condo application was rejected within 48 hours. But I was nowhere near finished with her. 3 weeks after our wedding, Britney's viral fame was already fading. View counts dropping, engagement declining, followers moving on to the next drama. She was back to posting thirst trap photos and motivational quotes to an audience that no longer cared about her content. That's when she decided to escalate with a new TikTok series called Exposing My Toxic Family. Each episode was going to reveal more abuse and manipulation she'd allegedly suffered at the hands of her narcissistic brother and his controlling wife. The first episode focused on financial abuse. She claimed I had stolen money from her, refused to help during genuine emergencies, and used my income to control her life choices. She posted what appeared to be screenshots of text conversations between us, complete with crocodile tears and dramatic background music. She ended the video by saying, "If you want to see all the receipts and evidence, let me know in the comments. I have years of documentation of his manipulation and abuse." This was her fatal mistake. I created an anonymous account and commented, "Post the receipts then. Let's see these conversations you're talking about." The comment received thousands of likes within hours. Other users started demanding proof and evidence. Britney had painted herself into a corner where she had to either admit she was lying or double down with fabricated evidence. She chose to double down. The next day, she posted screenshot evidence of text conversations where I allegedly called her horrible names, threatened to abandon her if she didn't comply with my demands, and made cruel comments about her appearance and intelligence. The problem? I recognized the format immediately. She'd used a fake text message generator website to create fictional conversations. But they weren't just fake. They were incredibly sloppy fakes. Wrong phone number format, impossible timestamps, messages that didn't match my communication style or vocabulary at all. I screen recorded her fake screenshots, then posted a response video from my real account titled, "My sister created fake text messages about me. Here's the evidence." I methodically walked through each fabricated screenshot, pointing out every inconsistency. Wrong area code for my number, timestamps that showed messages sent seconds apart, but with different time zones, grammar and vocabulary that didn't match how I actually communicate. Then I showed real conversations we'd had, boring logistics about family events, to contrast with the dramatic fake ones. But the devastating finishing move was when I revealed her Venmo payment history. I showed how she'd been accepting money from sugar daddies while claiming to be a struggling victim of family financial abuse. How she'd spent thousands on designer clothes and luxury experiences while publicly claiming to be barely surviving. "This is someone who's been lying about her entire lifestyle for years," I explained in the video. "She's not a successful influencer. She's not financially struggling because of family abuse. She's been catfishing the internet with my achievements, and when I stopped funding her fantasy life, she decided to destroy my reputation for social media views." The response was immediate and overwhelming. My video exploded to 6.2 million views in 3 days. Major drama channels picked up the story. YouTubers created reaction content. Britney Exposed became a trending hashtag across multiple platforms. Her follower count plummeted from 78,000 back to under 5,000 within a week. Brand collaboration inquiries completely disappeared. The sugar daddy payments stopped because her innocent victim image was permanently destroyed. But the real consequences were just beginning to unfold. Within 2 weeks of my exposure video going viral, Britney's entire life fell apart systematically. Her current employer terminated her after her manager discovered she'd been filming TikToks during work hours and bringing drama to the workplace. Her landlord initiated eviction proceedings because she'd been consistently late on rent for 4 months and could no longer supplement her income with online manipulation. Her friend group distanced themselves because they were embarrassed to be associated with the public scandal. Her social media engagement dropped to single digits per post. Dating apps banned her account after matches kept recognizing her from the drama. Most importantly, she lost all credibility for future manipulation attempts. Everyone in our extended family, our hometown, and her social circles now knew exactly who she really was. Within 6 weeks, she'd gone from viral internet sensation to unemployed, broke, and completely socially isolated. And that's when the begging started. By September, I hadn't heard from Britney or my parents in 2 months. Sarah and I had returned from our delayed honeymoon in Italy, settled into married life, and mostly moved on from the drama. Then Mom called at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday. "Tyler, we need to talk immediately. It's about Britney." "I don't want to discuss her, Mom. She's in serious trouble. She's about to be evicted. She has no income, no job prospects. She's been sleeping on friends' couches, but she's running out of options fast." That sounds like a problem she created for herself. She's your sister. She's family. You can't just abandon her. She destroyed my wedding and tried to ruin my reputation for internet fame. She made her choices. Mom was quiet for a moment. Then, she wants to apologize properly. She knows she messed up badly. She's learned her lesson. Too little, too late. Tyler, please, she's talking about desperate measures. I'm genuinely worried about her safety and what she might do. That got my attention briefly. What kind of desperate measures? She's been talking to dangerous men online, much older men with questionable intentions. She's considering arrangements that could put her in real physical danger. She's scared and desperate and doesn't know what else to do. I felt a momentary flicker of concern, but then I remembered the fake text messages, the destroyed wedding, the 7 years of financial abuse and manipulation. She's an adult, I said. She can figure it out like everyone else has to. Mom started crying. I raised you to be better than this. How can you be so heartless towards your own family? You raised me to work hard and be responsible. You raised her to expect handouts and throw tantrums when she doesn't get them. This is the natural result of that parenting difference, Mom. I hung up and blocked her number. 4 days later, Dad called. We hadn't spoken in over a year. Son, your mother's right. Brittany desperately needs help. Dad, she's not my responsibility anymore. She's blood. That has to count for something meaningful. It counted for 7 years and $18,000. She used up all the family credit. What if we paid you back everything? Your mother and I could take out a loan against the house, help her get back on her feet properly, and pay you back every penny over time. The desperation in his voice was unmistakable. With what income, Dad? Mom works part-time, and you're on disability. You can't realistically afford to pay me back. We'll figure something out. We always manage somehow. No, Dad. I'm completely done. Brittany is 23 years old. She needs to learn to support herself like every other adult in the world. You're really going to abandon your family over money? I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm just not enabling a manipulative person anymore. There's a significant difference. He hung up on me. The next week, I received a text from an unknown number. This is Brittany. I know you blocked me everywhere. I just want to talk for 5 minutes. Please. I didn't respond. 2 hours later, I'm genuinely sorry about the wedding. I'm sorry about everything I did. I was completely wrong, and I know that now. I just need help getting back on my feet, and then I'll pay you back for everything. Still no response from me. The following day, Tyler, please. I'm desperate. I don't have anywhere else to turn. I'll do anything you want. I'll sign a legal contract. I'll pay interest. I'll work for you for free. Just please help me. That evening, I'm sleeping in my car behind a 24-hour laundromat. I have nowhere to go. Mom and Dad can't help me financially. You're literally my only option. Please don't let me end up on the streets. The messages continued for days, each one more desperate than the last. She offered to be my personal assistant, to clean my house and do yard work for free, to sign over all her social media accounts to me, to create a public video, apologizing and admitting she'd lied about everything. I didn't respond to any of them. Finally, she showed up at my office building downtown on a Wednesday afternoon. The security guard in the lobby called my desk phone because there was a distressed young woman asking for me who seemed emotionally unstable and possibly homeless. He was concerned about her mental state and wasn't sure if he should call for medical assistance. When I came downstairs to the lobby, I barely recognized her. She looked absolutely terrible in a way that was genuinely shocking. Her hair was greasy and unwashed, hanging in limp strands around her face. She was wearing the same clothes I'd seen her in during her last desperate TikTok video 3 weeks earlier. A stained hoodie and ripped jeans that now looked like they'd been slept in repeatedly. She'd lost at least 15 pounds and had dark circles under her eyes that makeup couldn't hide. Her hands were shaking slightly, and she had that hollow, desperate look of someone who'd hit rock bottom hard and was still falling. Tyler, thank God, she said when she spotted me, her voice cracking with relief. I've been trying to reach you for weeks. I've been calling, texting, even tried messaging you on LinkedIn. I stayed near the security desk, not moving closer to her. I got all your messages. Then why didn't you respond? I said I was sorry. I said I'd do anything to make this right, because apologies only mean something when you say them, before you run out of other options. Not after. I mean it this time. I really learned my lesson the hard way. I know I was entitled and selfish and manipulative, and I took advantage of your kindness for years. I'll never do anything like that again. I swear on our grandmother's grave. You're absolutely right. You'll never do it again, because I'm never giving you another opportunity to hurt me or my family. Her face crumpled completely, and for the first time in our entire relationship, I saw what might have been genuine remorse instead of manipulative performance. Tyler, please. I'm literally homeless. I've been sleeping in my car for 2 weeks in different parking lots around the city. I have less than $40 to my name and no credit left anywhere. I can't get hired anywhere because employers search my name online and find all the drama and controversy. Every job interview ends the same way once they figure out who I am. I have absolutely nothing left and nowhere else to turn. You had everything handed to you on a silver platter, and you threw it all away for internet attention and social media fame. Those were your choices, and these are the consequences. I know I messed up everything, but I'm your sister. We grew up in the same house. You can't just leave me with nothing. I looked at her one last time. Really looked at her. This person who had spent years manipulating me, using me, lying about me, and ultimately trying to destroy my marriage and reputation for TikTok views. The sister who had never once thanked me genuinely for anything I'd done for her. Watch me! I turned around and walked back into my building. Security made sure she left the property and didn't return. That night, Sarah asked me how I felt about the whole situation. Honestly, free. For the first time in my adult life, I'm not responsible for Brittany's problems. I'm not losing sleep worrying about her rent or her debts or her next crisis. It's genuinely liberating. Do you think she's actually learned anything from this? I considered the question carefully. Maybe, but it doesn't matter anymore. Even if she has, I'm done. Some bridges can't be rebuilt once you burn them down with lies and manipulation. Sarah nodded approvingly. I'm proud of you for maintaining your boundaries. She had years to appreciate what you were doing for her. Instead, she got greedier and more demanding every time you helped. This is just the natural consequence of that behavior. 4 months later, I heard through family gossip that Brittany had moved back home with our parents. She found work at a call center making $11 an hour and had to sell her car to pay down some of her massive debt. Her social media presence disappeared entirely. No more manifestation content, no more lifestyle posts, no more drama videos. Just complete silence.